Most people trust their eyes. I trust my ears. My name is Elias, and I'm a forensic audio engineer. I spend my days cleaning up recordings for court cases, isolating a whisper in a crowded room, identifying a gunshot caliber by its waveform, filtering out wind noise to hear a confession. I live in a world of frequencies. I know that lying sounds different than telling the truth. The pitch goes up slightly, the cadence becomes too rhythmic. A liar rehearses, a truth teller stumbles. I thought I was listening to the sweet melody of a perfect marriage. I was married to Monica for 7 years. She was a flight attendant, beautiful, chaotic, always on the move. I was the anchor, the guy who stayed home in his soundproof studio. Our life was good, or so I thought. But lately, I had been feeling off, not emotionally, physically. For the past 3 months, I had been battling a mysterious illness, vertigo, nausea, numbness in my fingers. The doctors called it idiopathic neuropathy. They said it was stress. They gave me pills. Monica was a saint through it all. She brought me my special tea every night. She fluffed my pillows. She looked at me with such pity. It started with a voice note, just a simple 10-second voice note sent via WhatsApp. Monica was supposed to be on a layover in Berlin. "Hey, baby," her voice said through my studio speakers. "Just got to the hotel in Berlin. It's raining like crazy here. I'm gonna crash. So tired. Don't wait up. Love you." I was working late, editing a podcast. I played her message on my main monitors, $10,000 speakers that reveal every flaw in a recording. I smiled, about to close the file. But then my engineer brain kicked in. She said it was raining, but the background noise floor, it was too clean, too static. I zoomed in on the waveform. I applied a high-pass filter to cut out her voice and isolate the background ambiance. I turned up the volume. I didn't hear rain. I didn't hear German traffic. I heard a low rhythmic hum, huzz, 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 huzz. And then, very faintly, buried about minus 60 decibels under her voice, I heard a sound. Ding, 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 clatter. It was faint but unmistakable to me. It wasn't rain. It was the payout sound of a specific type of slot machine, the Wheel of Fortune model. There are no slot machines in Berlin hotels, but there are plenty of them in Atlantic City, which was only a 2-hour drive from our house. I sat there, staring at the spectral analyzer. The green lines didn't lie. She wasn't in Germany. She was in New Jersey. Why lie? Maybe she lost her job and was gambling. Maybe she was an addict. I wished it was that simple. I wished she was just a gambler. I felt a wave of nausea hit me, my sickness acting up again. I reached for the tea Monica had prepared for me before she left. It was cold now. I took a sip. It tasted bitter, more bitter than usual. And suddenly, the 2 pieces of data clicked in my brain. The lie about her location, the mysterious illness that only got worse when she was home. I didn't drink the rest of the tea. Instead, I poured the tea into a sterile sample jar I used for cleaning equipment. Then I went back to the computer. I wasn't just a husband anymore. I was an investigator, and I had a lot of audio to process. I spent the next 48 hours doing a deep dive into every voice note, every video she had sent me in the last 6 months. I was looking for a pattern. I was looking for the second voice. I found him in a video from 3 months ago. Monica had sent a video of a sunset in Paris. I stripped the audio. I used an EQ sweep to remove the wind noise, and there it was, a man's voice, breathing, not talking, just breathing close to the phone microphone, and a faint sound of a lighter flicking. Click, foosh. Monica doesn't smoke. I don't smoke. The second voice was a smoker. I ran the tea sample to a private toxicology lab. I knew a guy from my forensic work. I told him it was for a case I was working on. "Rush it, Danny," I said. "Life or death." While I waited, I tracked Monica's phone. She had turned off her location sharing,
claiming it drained battery, but she shared a family Spotify account. I logged in. She was listening to music. The device name wasn't Monica's iPhone. It was connected to Brad's Tesla. Brad. The name hit me like a punch. Brad was our insurance agent, the guy who sold us our life insurance policies 2 years ago, the guy who came over for dinner and laughed too hard at Monica's jokes. Brad, who had just bought a Tesla. The results from the lab came back via email. Substance detected, ethylene glycol and traces of arsenic. Concentration, sublethal, cumulative dosage. I stared at the screen. The room spun, but this time not from the poison, from the horror. She wasn't just cheating on me, she was murdering me, slowly, methodically, making it look like a natural neurological decline so no autopsy would be ordered. And Brad, the insurance agent, I pulled up our policy. If I died of natural causes, the payout was $500,000, but there was a double indemnity clause. If I died from an accident or a sudden, unexplained medical event that wasn't pre-existing, the payout was $2 million. They were killing me for a Tesla and a condo in Florida. I looked at the date. Monica was coming home tomorrow. I had 2 choices. Choice A, call the police now. They get arrested. I survive. But that wasn't enough. They had stolen my health. They had stolen years of my life. They treated me like a disposable income source. I didn't want them just arrested. I wanted them destroyed. I wanted to catch them in the act, on tape, confessing to everything. I needed one final recording, the master tape. I formulated a plan. It was dangerous. It was insane, but I had to know for sure how far they would go. I rigged the house. I put high-fidelity micro mics in the kitchen, the bedroom, and most importantly, behind the headbed of our bed. I set up a remote server that would upload the audio in real time to a cloud account only I could access. Then I set the stage. When Monica came home the next day, I looked terrible. I didn't have to act much. The poison was still in my system. I was pale, shaking. "Monica," I wheezed when she walked in, "I feel awful, worse than ever." She rushed to me, her eyes wide with fake concern. "Oh, my poor baby! Did you take your medicine? Did you drink your tea?" "No," I whispered. "I was waiting for you to make it. It only tastes right when you make it." She smiled, a predator's smile. "I'll go make it right now. Sit down." She went to the kitchen. I checked my phone. The kitchen mic was hot. I put in my invisible earpiece. I could hear her in the kitchen. I heard the kettle boil. I heard the cupboard open. And then I heard a voice. Not hers. Brad was on speakerphone. "Is he bad?" Brad's voice crackled. "He looks like a corpse already," Monica whispered. "I'm gonna up the dose today, just a little, to speed it up. I can't take another week of his whining." "Be careful, Mon," Brad said. "If he dies too fast, the coroner might sniff around. Make sure he drinks it all." "Don't worry. He trusts me. He's such a puppy. It's pathetic." She laughed. That laugh, it was the sound of my heart breaking for the final time. She walked back into the living room with the steaming mug. "Here you go, sweetie. Drink up. It will make the pain go away." I held the mug. My hands were trembling. "Monica," I said, looking her in the eyes, "I love you. You know that, right?" She stroked my hair. "I know, Elias. I love you too. Now drink." I brought the cup to my lips. I pretended to take a large gulp, but I spit it back into the dark mug. I did this twice. Then I started to cough. I threw myself on the floor. I convulsed. I'm not an actor, but adrenaline is a hell of a drug. "Monica," I choked out, "my chest, it burns." She didn't call 911. She stood over me. She watched. She took out her phone. "Brad," she said calmly, "it's happening. I think he's having a heart attack or a seizure. It looks real." I let my eyes roll back. I slowed my breathing. I went limp. I lay there on the cold hardwood floor for 10 minutes. She checked my pulse. It was faint because I was holding my breath. She said, "He's gone," or close enough. She didn't cry. She stepped over my body and started looking through my wallet. "Jackpot," she muttered. Then she left the room to call the ambulance, to play the grieving widow. The moment she left the room, I got up. I was dizzy, but I was alive. I grabbed the mug of poison tea, evidence. I grabbed the hard drive with the cloud backups, and I slipped out the back door into the hood behind our house. When the ambulance arrived, they found an empty house and a confused wife. But I wasn't done. I wasn't just going to disappear. I was going to host my own funeral. I stayed dark for 3 days. I stayed in a cheap motel, detoxing from the poison, drinking gallons of water. I contacted a lawyer and the police. I gave them everything, the tea
sample, the audio recordings of the Berlin trip, the kitchen confession. The police wanted to arrest them immediately. "No," I told the detective, "not yet. Brad is hosting a memorial fundraiser for me at his house tomorrow night, isn't he?" The detective nodded. "They're moving fast, trying to collect donations before the insurance kicks in." "Let me handle the entrance," I said. "You just be ready with the cuffs." The night of the fundraiser came. Brad's house was packed. Mutual friends, neighbors, people crying over my disappearance and presumed death. Monica told everyone I had wandered off in a confused state and likely fell into the river. I set up my gear in a van outside. I hacked into Brad's Bluetooth sound system. He had a smart home setup, easy work for an audio engineer. Inside, Monica was holding a microphone, wearing black, looking devastatingly sad. "Elias was my soulmate," she sobbed to the crowd. "He was struggling so much with his health. I tried everything to save him, but the demons in his head, they took him." Brad stood next to her, a comforting hand on her shoulder. "We are raising this money to help Monica keep their home during this tragedy." I waited for the applause to die down. Then I took control of the speakers. I didn't speak. I played a sound file. The sound of the Berlin hotel room, the slot machine ding. The crowd looked confused. Monica froze. Then the voice cut through the room at maximum volume. "He looks like a corpse already. I'm going to up the dose today. I can't take another week of his whining." The room went silent, dead silent. Monica dropped her glass. It shattered, a sound I didn't need to enhance. Brad looked at the speakers, panic rising in his eyes. "Turn it off! Technical glitch! Turn it off!" Then came my voice, live from the van. "It's not a glitch, Brad. It's the mix." I walked through the front door. I was still pale, still thin, but I was standing. The crowd parted like the Red Sea. I looked like a ghost. Monica screamed, a primal, terrified scream. "You're dead! I checked your pulse!" "You checked what you wanted to find," I said calmly. I held up the evidence bag with the tea. "Arsenic and ethylene glycol. A clumsy mix, Brad. I expected better from an insurance agent. Did you know that antifreeze has a distinct frequency when poured? It's more viscous than water." Brad tried to run for the back door. He ran straight into the arms of the SWAT team waiting in the kitchen. The police swarmed the room. As they cuffed Monica, she looked at me. Her mask was gone. There was only hate. "Why didn't you just die, Elias? You were boring, Elias. You were always just listening to your stupid sounds." I leaned in close, so only she could hear. "You're right, Monica. I was listening. And the problem with you is you never knew when to be quiet." They are both in prison now. Attempted murder, insurance fraud, conspiracy. The recordings were admissible in court. The jury listened to them plotting my death in high-definition surround sound. I recovered. It took a year for my nerves to heal. I kept the house. I kept the money. I still work as an audio engineer, but now I trust the silence more than the noise. And every time I hear a slot machine ding, I smile, because that little sound saved my life. Listen to your gut. Listen to the background noise, because sometimes the truth isn't in what they say to your face, it's in the whisper they think you can't hear. Thank you for listening to this story. If this case gave you chills, please hit that like button. It helps the algorithm more than you know. And if you want more stories about justice, survival, and the dark side of human nature, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss the next case. Stay safe and listen carefully.